If you're new to the channel, I like to walk every single day. I like to drink water, I like to avoid sugar, but more importantly, I like to get people that watch our videos to copy me, because I believe I have the best way to lose weight and actually be a pretty down-to-earth human being. You see, when you go on a walk, a lot of times you're able to kind of dive into your think tank, just have a little alone time, and sometimes that's all you need to make all the difference in the world. We live in a hectic world. It's so hectic that sometimes just driving to school and driving to work can push us over the edge. Today's story is sad, but even more than sad, it's surreal and extremely unique, and I urge you to check this story out. Well, hopefully you'll check it out by me talking about it. Guys, in Las Vegas, Nevada, the Las Vegas Metro Police Department just released a video that apparently happened a little while back between two people on the freeway out there where they were basically having a road rage incident.
Chilling words from Valente Ayala to a Metro police officer. They're on the 215 near the Gibson and Stephanie exit. Tyler Johns is turning himself around.
Why? No, bro. I shot at him, bro. I didn't know. Shot at him? I didn't know.
Johns is arrested as Ayala is distraught over the loss. Henderson police say Johns and Ayala were merging from the I-11 to the 215 Beltway when they began jockeying with one another. At one point, police say Ayala got out in front of Johns, and that's when Johns sped up and shot at the back window. Dominguez was sitting in the back seat.
According to the witnesses, this road rage incident went from one particular part of the freeway and extended for miles and miles. So these two were literally weaving in and out of traffic and arguing.
Between these two, it started like I saw it way back at Gibson. Okay. And they were just doing all over, in and out, passing each other in the sure. Emergency lane.
A Henderson police detective testified at Tyler Johns' bond hearing on Tuesday that Johns was the aggressor. Johns' attorney pushed back against that, calling it an accidental shooting.
And Tyler Johns ends up driving by him, pulling out a gun, shooting at his vehicle, and hitting the back window. In so doing, he actually made contact and took the life of 11-year-old Brendan Dominguez.
Yeah, no, it's 100% happened. I shot at him, dude. Okay. I didn't even know he had a kid in the car.
You see Ayala laying out on the side of the 215 crying over the loss of his son.
No! Notify supervisors and stuff. No! Bro. I'm so sorry. Do you have the ID? Oh, yeah. Okay. Just. I'm going to school. Yeah.
This is where it gets really surreal and really unique. The cops arrive on the scene. Nobody took off and nobody's fighting. When the cops arrive, you see Valencio Ayala on the ground crying, saying, "My kid is dead." The other guy, Tyler Johns, looks to the cop and he says, "I didn't realize there was somebody in the back seat. It is 100% my fault." And he proceeds to turn around, put his hands in the position so that the cop can handcuff him. What was so interesting is obviously it doesn't matter if there's a person in the car or not, especially if there's kids in the car or not. You obviously should not be shooting at anybody. And when you hear Tyler Johns actually apologize for what he did and take credit for what he did, you can just tell this is probably the type of guy that 99 times out of 100 is probably totally mellow and totally down to earth. Valencio Ayala, you see him totally distraught, totally sad. But the overall thing that we're missing here is that because two men that on any given day might have been friends were so irritated about getting in front of each other, cutting each other off, typical road rage crap, right? Because of that, there's an 11-year-old that never ended up making it to school that day. Now, there's 1,000,001 reasons to be in a bad mood. And when you're in a bad mood and you're in rush hour, whether it be 7 in the morning or 5 in the evening, you know rush hour can be a real bummer when you're in it. One of the best recommendations I can give people is leave your house 15 minutes early And if you arrive somewhere late, hopefully they'll understand. But if they don't understand, it's better to lose your job or miss out on an appointment with a client or a friend than actually get into a car accident, or even worse, lose your life for road rage, right? So it's just one of those things where it's like, one of the best things we can do as people is leave 15 minutes early, turn on the music, pretend like you don't have a time when you have to arrive at a certain place, because what happens is our ego starts to affect the way we act. And we start to say, hey, how dare that person cut me off? If somebody cuts you off in traffic, just assume they have an emergency. Because if somebody told you, hey, I have to cut you off, my son or daughter is in danger, you would totally be okay with that 100%. But for some reason, we think if a person cuts us off in traffic, that they deserve to get yelled at and potentially fought, potentially in a fight. And I think that's where we go wrong as people. It's time to mellow out. One time I was on a freeway and this person cut me off in a way where I had to hit my brakes, had my child in the back seat, had my wife in the passenger seat, and I ended up taking a nickel or a quarter out of my glove compartment, rolling down the window. Keep in mind, we're going 55 and now we're going like 70 because I'm trying to catch up to them. And I throw this quarter out and it spanks against their window and falls on the freeway. I'm thinking, oh, hey, at least he knows I'm pissed. What I didn't realize is that by having a child in the back seat and a wife in the passenger, I was actually putting multiple people's lives at risk, simply to catch up with a guy that cut me off. What I should have done is left well enough alone. Hey, the guy cut me off, but I didn't get in an accident. The last thing I want to do is go get in a gunfight or something. So even your boy Jesse has had moments in his life where he chose the wrong path, where he chose the wrong set of actions, where he went for violence or whatever you want to call it. Not something I'm proud of, but I like to be honest about it. If I had an opportunity to talk to myself back in the day, I would have told myself the same thing I'm telling you now. Go take a walk, go relax. Your job as a dad and as a husband is to make it to your kids and to your wife or your spouse each and every day. And it's one thing if somebody just comes out and victimizes you and takes your life. It's another thing if you're asking for it. And I guess that's the point that I'm trying to make. A lot of times in life, we're asking for it. Jerome Estrada says, uncontrollable anger will end your life. I look at these people that are really hot-headed, and it just seems weird to me because it always seems like they're hot-headed when they're dealing with somebody that they can take. But when somebody is bigger and badder than them, they tend to leave the hot-headedness at home and they tend to try to communicate. Why can't we communicate with people whether we can take them in a fight or not? We as people should always try to get out of a situation without resulting to anger or violence or rage or fighting, whatever you want to call it. Valley of the Uncanny says, I didn't know there was a quote-unquote kid, like it's okay to randomly shoot at adults. That's what was so surreal about this. He goes, look, I'm 100% at fault. I didn't know there was a kid in the back seat. Even if you didn't know there was a kid, what are you doing shooting a gun? Rip Tayo says, this is why I chill out. I don't honk, I don't speed up, I don't brake check people. I just let folks pass by and fuel their ego thinking they got one over on me. Rip Tayo, that is the best way to do it. Here's the cool thing. If it doesn't bother you, if you're okay, if you've already made a preset decision that you're going to be mellow and you're going to get home to your family, that's a W. That's a W. When you're on your walk today, Venters, tell yourself there's a kid that lost his life because of a stupid argument between two people that probably, if you ask them now, they probably don't even know the real reason they're fighting. Yes, there was a road rage incident. Yes, somebody probably cut each other off. Yes, the other person probably flipped them off. There was probably horns followed up by a pursuit. Why the hell is that a reason to lose a life? Oh yeah, it's not. Jack X Nos Myko says, crazy how people will throw their life away over nothing. Sometimes you'll see people and their girlfriend or their wife will cheat on them. And instead of just saying, hey, this is a sign from God, I'm going to get away from this person, I'm going to meet somebody that's more loyal and faithful to me, right? Instead, what they do is they say, hey, I'm going to go find the person my girlfriend or significant other cheated on me with, and I'm going to go hurt them in some way, shape, or form. The reason that's dumb is because, yes, you don't want somebody to disrespect you and move in on your girlfriend, but if your girlfriend or wife or your husband or boyfriend, if they allow that, then they probably never liked you that much in the first place. So when I was younger in my 20s, I would have thought there's two ways to handle this. You either break up or you get in a fight. And even now, as I approach my 50s, I still feel that exact same way when it comes to dating and relationships. You're either going to get in a fight or you're going to make the right move, which is just to move on. If somebody really cares about you, and if somebody really loves you, they would never let another person encroach. Now, sometimes there's a situation where that person encroaching is like a stalker, or they won't take no, they won't leave well enough alone. Sometimes you have to actually stand up and defend your significant other. But a lot of times, that's not what happens at all. Your partner cheats on you, and instead of just accepting it, breaking up with them and moving on, we let that ego get in the way. The ego, the pride, right? What's the saying? Pride before the fall. Everybody goes through this. The difference is, as we get older, we figure different ways to solve our problems. What I'm urging you to do is, why wait till you get older? Why not become one of these 20-somethings that's just really mellow and down to earth now? Because trust me, when you're in your 40s, 50s, and 60s, you're naturally going to be a little bit more mellow. If anybody else is like me and actually enjoys people that are naturally mellow and go with the flow, let me know down in the comments, because if I'm looking for a friend, the type of friend I want is somebody that can actually have a conversation without resorting to violence and wanting to beat you up for it. Because if you can't be honest with anybody, they're not really friend material. So again, I would even say this to people, like, if you have a hot-headed friend where every time you go out, they're looking to get in a fight, it might be a good idea to not be friends with them anymore. But because they're hot-headed, make sure you say it in the right way. With that being said, have a great day. I'll see you later. Have a good night.